7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We are live here in North Alabama at the beautiful Angel Share Garage Bar. Of course, I got co-host Richie with me. Good morning. To my left, of course. We got fill-in Director Ray on the other side today as Director Pops is down in Tuscaloosa, being our informant down there on the plains there.
Live on the scene.
He is live on the scene. We're gonna have an incredible morning. Just waiting for, of course, Georgia, Texas later today, as well as Alabama and Oklahoma, which is a game that really doesn't decide much. I think Alabama's kind of had their fate decided now for a little bit.
See, I think this is the first of many play-in games today. I think if the winner of both those games that you just mentioned are in the playoff, I don't necessarily know that either one is a play-out game, because I think even if Georgia or Alabama were to lose today, they still have a lot in front of them that they could still get there. But I think both of these games are a play-in game, and I think there's, surprisingly enough, I think there's a play-in game in the ACC today. Well, the ACC that allows Notre Dame to play in the ACC because they're not the actual conference ACC thing.
I just thought of something here.
Uh-oh.
So, with Ray on the show this morning, we do have a hotkey for Ray, but I don't know if we can play it on YouTube.
We can save it for the second hour. It's fine.
We're actually going to go full straight 2 hours YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah. This is news to you. I know this is news to you.
Then fire away.
I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, but I think we should go for it. If there's music, we'll cut it off.
Or
that's how it works.
If we get a strike, it's just the first one.
It's just the first of many, right?
Yeah.
That would have definitely been copy straight. I had to cut that off real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Starting this morning off hot here, and possible strikes and everything like that.
Can I mention something?
What's up?
We have, Director Ray is in the studio, but yet I have no burritos.
No burritos.
I was woke up a little late. No, couldn't afford to do the burrito technician job this morning, so I do apologize.
All right. It happens.
I brought donuts.
You brought donuts, so it's okay.
That'll work.
Sorry, Walker, back in the studio. No donuts, no burritos.
Walker takes a lot of the hit for the team, and it's because she does probably the most important job, and that's keep us on air.
Allegedly, that is the most important job.
Allegedly, yes, that is the most important job. Okay, so we heard the news not too long ago this morning. Virginia Tech is in early talks with James Franklin to be their next head coach. Penn State, you just handed Virginia Tech the next 15 years of their program on a silver platter.
It's a very – we discussed this a couple of weeks ago about the fit. And I think with a lot of this new coaching carousel this year, there's more talk about the fit. Does this guy fit your program? I said last week about Auburn needs to go out and find a guy who wants to be the head coach at Auburn, not just looking for that paycheck, not just I want to coach in the SEC, actually wants to coach at Auburn. And Franklin at Virginia Tech, for whatever reason, just makes a lot of sense in my head. Because guess what you don't have to do at Virginia Tech?
Win every game.
Win the big one.
I don't think there is a big one compared to what he had coached at Penn State. I don't think the big game is out there for him to lose. Name me a game that's as big as the Ohio State game playing with your own team in the ACC.
The game in Charlotte at the end of the season?
Yes, that would be the game. I mean, I don't know if Miami or Florida, or not really Florida State this year, Clemson. Miami. On good years, if Clemson's good, if Miami's good, if Florida State is good, are those games as big as a Penn State-Ohio State game to lose?
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't even think it's as big as, some of their other rivals in the Big Ten. But that's just, I guess that's my bias of the two big conferences being better than everybody else right now. And I'm waiting for somebody to hit us up in the chat and talk about how overrated the SEC is. But I keep looking at the poll, and the poll keeps telling me that the SEC is not overrated.
Yeah. ACC, I don't know where ACC would be overrated. I don't think they are. I think they're kind of graded in the correct way. I mean, there hasn't been a situation where we've seen just one team being pushed amongst the other ones. And I think Miami is a good team. I have no issue with Miami. They have a good out-of-conference schedule, okay? The number one issue I have with the number one team in the country, who have they played? I think they're good, but I have nothing to tell me they're good.
They played Texas since Ray's here.
He was fixing
to very quickly.
Yes.
Dixie reminds you, they were ranked number one, yes. However, they did lose. Understand that, but Texas has come a long way since then.
They have.
The offensive line is finally starting to gel, but that's for another discussion. But I think that that game was, even though it was at the beginning of the year, I think it's still valid for them to say, hey, they did beat Texas, who was ranked number one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll even say this: how much stock we're in week 11?
Yes, 12. We're in week 12.
Week 12. So we had 11 weeks. So that was 11 weeks ago. How much stock? Because at this point, very few, if anyone, puts any stock in the Florida State beating Alabama week 1. Florida State has turned into a fraction of what they possibly could have been. Alabama's turned the season over to Ty, and Ty's like, cool, thanks, appreciate it. I'm just going to go out here and win.
Right.
But yet we still want to hold Ohio State beating Texas week 1, 14-7. It was actually a really ugly game. There was, the offenses weren't jumping. If that game was this weekend or next weekend, it's we're talking a whole different story. I mean, it's probably I still think Ohio State probably wins, but it's probably more of a 38-31 game than a 14-7 game.
Talking about both teams getting propped up here.
Yeah.
But I still think, there's teams that have had a tougher schedule behind, really both Indiana and Ohio State. There's still teams behind them in the college football poll that easily have had a better strength of record than both those teams, maybe combined in some aspects. So I just think maybe, again, I had talked last year about premature rankings on these teams. And I think we're seeing it again this year where we have really dove into premature ranking on teams. I think Indiana, the problem with Indiana is who do they play the rest of the year and who have they played so far?
Yeah.
Ohio State, of course, you talk about Texas, right? Okay, there's a win you can hang your hat on. Indiana, there's not really a win I can think of where they can sit there and hang their boots up and kick their boots up at the couch at the end of the season.
Oregon?
Yeah.
But it was a really close game.
It was a close game.
At Eugene?
Yeah. And here's the thing for a lot of those teams, because we're going to look strength of record on opponents. Who does Oregon play?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, at the end of the season, yeah. But at the end of the season, they're going to finish the year off at USC and Washington. Two good teams for Big Ten play.
Right. Well, and they kind of almost, it took them a last second field goal to beat Iowa last week.
Yeah.
Or not Iowa. Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So you were asking strength of schedule. In the top 12, the proverbial playoff, as it was listed Tuesday night, you had, if I'm not mistaken, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Texas. 5 SEC teams. The worst of which is Ole Miss with number 32 strength of schedule. Indiana is 33rd. Ohio State is 41st. So Alabama is 6, Georgia 11, Texas A&M 15, Texas 13, and like I said, Ole Miss 32. That is, other than Notre Dame at 30, is the only team with a tougher schedule that they're number 5. The other 4 SEC teams have the 4 top. So yeah, you can say what you want, but they're going to say, oh well, there's only a strength of schedule because you're playing these other teams in the SEC that have been propped up and are blah 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 blah. No, the SEC, we've got more 5 stars, we got more 4 stars. We're just better. It's
propped up in a way because the strength of record inside the SEC, every team is ranked besides 2. Yeah. Well, at some point in this season they were.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think
Auburn was ranked at one point.
Auburn was ranked.
South Carolina was ranked at one point.
Kentucky was not.
Mississippi State was not.
Arkansas was not. Maybe at the beginning of the season.
I don't remember. I don't think so.
I don't remember either. I'd have to.
I almost feel bad for Arkansas.
I mean, they've had a rough year.
It's they just want to be left alone. Just go figure out who their next coach is going to be.
Yeah.
I think people forget that, because coming from, Texas only being in the SEC 2 years, you come and you start playing these games and you start playing, even people say lesser teams, but the lesser team in the SEC is built different.
Right.
There are stout teams that have better defensive lines, stronger and faster, bigger, stronger, faster offensive linemen. So there is a difference. When you get into that, the scheduling and stuff like that, and everybody's it's Mississippi State, yeah, but hey, can you come down here and beat Mississippi State on a consistent basis, and then go through that gauntlet and still be at the end of the season with one or two losses? It's difficult,
and it's not just Mississippi State. It's the fact that you played Alabama last week, you played Mississippi State this week, and you've got Florida or Texas or Oklahoma next week. So even your lesser opponents. To kind of go, I was just looking while you were saying that. Ohio State's last 3 games, UCLA, without their starting quarterback today, they fired their coach. They're in complete rebuild. Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, and then they play Michigan at Michigan. So out of their last 3 games, only one of them is actually worth even talking about. Alabama has Oklahoma and Auburn still left on their schedule. Georgia has Texas and Georgia Tech still on their schedule. Ole Miss has Florida and Mississippi State still on their schedule. So you're talking about, here we are the last 3 weeks of the season, and even with the cupcake that a couple of SEC schools will sprinkle in with Sanford and East Illinois and Charlotte and whatnot, you're still playing 2 really good games, 2 really good opponents.
Well, this is one reason I have a formal hatred with the Big Ten.
Did you fill out a paperwork for that?
But it's just the almost the games they rob us during the season because of how they schedule, because of how they schedule their schedule. There's so many games that do not happen, or in some way, shape, or form just do not take place. It almost robs the fan in a way.
You made a comment a couple weeks ago where we discussed and very quickly both agree that the first game of the season needs to be Army-Navy. That needs to be the opener of the college football season.
Yeah.
Yes, NIL is what NIL is. The transfer portal is what the transfer portal is. I think right now the biggest problem that college football has is a scheduling problem, because there's not a lot of consistency. There's not a lot. And we schedule these games. I can tell you that Alabama is supposed to play Virginia Tech in 2037, I think it is, at Blacksburg. Will James Franklin and Kellen DeBoer still be the head coaches of those 2 teams when they play each other? A scheduled game that's already scheduled out. I would...
Half of these games get canceled.
Yeah. So why do we schedule that far out? Why can't we say, hey, we looked like the NFL does.
Uh-huh.
Here's how the SEC finished. Texas A&M 1, Alabama 2. Texas A&M, you have to play 4 of the top half of the conference, and you only get 3 of the bottom half. Where Mississippi State, hey, you ended in the bottom half, you get 4 of the of the bottom half, and then 3 from the top half. And mix it up where there's a little more parity, there's a little more of these big teams playing each other. Even with basketball, Lord, I'm wearing the shirt today because they looked good last week, and then Purdue came in there and spanked them. But Nate Oates we played the number 5 team in the country at Madison Square Garden, the number 2 team in the country in Tuscaloosa. I think we've got the number 10, 11, and 15 still to play on neutral sites before we even get to January. So it's kind of cool to be able to see these big games like that. And they don't schedule these things 72 years in advance.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying it would be a better outcome, or really just a better experience for the fan in general if you were to schedule it more towards college basketball.
Yeah.
Rather than scheduling these out years and years in advance when neither the coach, those players that are on that team, going to be there.
Well, think about this: the first game of the NFL season this year, was a they always play the national champion gets the Thursday night game, and then they'll always try to play a rematch of the Super Bowl within the first couple of weeks. That's not even possible with the current scheduling system because we already know who we're playing next year and the year after, and the year my daughter graduates from the University of Alabama, we already know what that schedule is. For the record, she's 9. She's not even looking at middle schools yet.
Days that you're not looking forward to. Guys. All right, guys, this is Off the Bench. We do have to take a quick break here in just a second here. You guys make sure to stay tuned in for the entire show. We got some guests coming up at 10 o'clock. Of course, Christopher Reed from WVNN will be on, and Scott Chambers. Scott is a interesting past. I don't know how to bring him up and how to introduce him. He is a voice actor, famous in Australia, radio guy extraordinaire.
I think that's a pretty good way to.
That's how we roll with it then. All right, guys, we got to take a quick break. Guys, make sure to get your pick'ems in on our Facebook page. It is posted up there for you. It's, I think, the last thing posted because I had to repost it yesterday because Richie got on me because he couldn't find it, which means nobody else could.
Well, that or I'm just the old man that couldn't find it.
Could be true. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We'll be right back. 7:30 a.m. 1039 FM JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We are getting ready for another great day of Saturday fall football here in North Alabama. If you're watching on the stream, you can see my struggles trying to get the Be Right Back thing to stay up there. It was a difficult experience until I found that there's a loop button, which would have helped the whole thing.
Did you find it?
Yeah, it was right in front of my face the whole time. Yeah, that's how most things go.
That's where most things are.
That's where most things are, right in front of my face. All right, so we a couple days ago on the midweek update on the of the show, we had talked about a scenario where the ACC completely gets left out of the playoff, which in Rece Davis's terms, he put this as the ACC Doomsday Scenario.
Yep.
For this to happen, I forget exactly what needs to happen today, but it is a significant shift on how things will go. And it is essentially...
Well, step one happened last night.
What was step one?
Clemson beat Louisville.
So Clemson beat Louisville.
Missed 3 field goals, or 2 field goals and a PAT.
Well, that's not... So Clemson beat Louisville.
So yeah, that was step one. So that knocks Louisville out.
That's step one. Okay.
Really and truly, there's two ways to get there. There's the one where everybody beats everybody and blah, 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 blah. And there's the one that's even more fun for all of us who don't care anything about the ACC, which is just Duke wins.
Yeah.
Well, if Duke wins, then they can look back and have an argument. Essentially what the committee is telling us, if Duke wins, they're not impressive enough to get into the playoff.
Correct. And then you get James Madison and South Florida.
Yes. Which I wouldn't mind a South Florida. They're a good team. I like Alex Gullish. I think he's done phenomenal this year. I haven't looked in too much. I'm not going to lie and say I've seen James Madison's games because I have not seen James Madison games. What's wrong with football?
They wear purple.
Yes, that's what I know about James Madison. And Kurt Signetti used to go for him.
Yeah. That was a while ago, but yeah.
It wasn't too long ago. 3-4 years ago.
Great academic program.
Yeah,
good academic program. That's what we know about.
If I'm not mistaken, they just moved up like 3 years ago and couldn't even play in a bowl game.
Yeah, Signetti.
Yeah,
Signetti led them then. Yeah, that was when Signetti was there.
And the only reason they got to play in a bowl game was because they were like 11-2 on the season, but couldn't play in a bowl game unless there was not enough. And
because it was the whole transitional year thing. Like you had to have a certain amount of you could. So what you could do is, so when you move to the Division I, you can either take the option of playing half your games at FBS level and half the game at FCS level.
Yeah.
Okay. You can do those split, but you will not be bowl eligible.
Correct.
Okay. This is your transitional year. I think you do it for 1 or 2 years, maybe like that. Or you can take the option which James Madison chose and said, we'll play a complete FBS schedule. They did that. And then there was some kind of technicality where they didn't think they should get a bowl game, so on and so forth. So that's what happened.
So let me go back to Duke in this ACC
Doomsday.
Just Doomsday complete off the reservation. If Duke was to win their last 3 games of the season, which are
make them 8-5,
would make them 8-5. They're at Virginia, or excuse me, home for Virginia today, at UNC, big rivalry game. And then home for Wake Forest. They are actually favored in all 3 games right now.
I can see each game causing an issue, though.
Okay, so here are their losses out of conference. They got beat by Illinois 45-19. Illinois has fallen completely off the map since then. They got beat by Tulane 34-27. Tulane would have to have a bunch of things happen for them to get into their championship game, and they could possibly be a playoff team. And they lost to Georgia Tech's their only loss in conference, 27-18. Oh, and did I mention they lost to UConn? 37-34.
And they're talking about this team getting in the playoff after you take a loss to UConn when you have 3 other losses already under your belt.
Right. So they have 4 losses on the season, one of which is to UConn, not in basketball. Duly note, not in basketball.
Okay, this would be a different story in basketball. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a different story, right? You know?
It's a terrible basketball game, 37-34. But so yeah, like I said, they host Virginia today. They're a 5.5-point favorite. The next week, the big rivalry at North Carolina, and then at home for Wake Forest. Duke could run the table and go to the ACC championship game, and please.
It would be really because you're going to have all the voices heard. You're going to hear them said about, if Duke goes out and runs the table, wins everything, wins the ACC championship, and then gets left out of the playoff, you've got fans screaming. Okay, not only is this doomsday scenario for really the ACC, but it's almost doomsday scenario for the committee because they're the ones catching all the hate for not putting them in. It won't be the ACC's fault. It'll be the committee's fault.
But I think the committee's done a great job already of explaining to you where they think the SEC or the ACC falls and all this and everything.
Yeah, and they've done what they can to explain their part right now. But going forward, nobody's going to care on selection day.
I'm going to tell you how they solve this problem. There's a super easy solution to this problem.
Let 12 no matter what.
Do what?
Let them in at 12 no matter what.
No. If it is Duke, you can't put Duke in.
Okay.
So you put in James Madison and USF.
Yes.
And then at the end of the season, Miami and Notre Dame both have the same record, 10-2.
They can play?
And they've already played. Miami won the game.
Okay, yeah.
So Miami has the head-to-head over Notre Dame. And you just go, sorry, Notre Dame. And we're going to put Miami ahead of you because now at the end of the season, you're both 10-2. You have the head-to-head because you cannot. There is absolutely no way.
So now you're putting 2 ACC teams in.
Just one. Miami.
So you're saying Duke's out of the scenario.
Yeah, but Duke's out. Miami is your ACC team in the tournament.
Yeah, yes, that's what the committee is essentially saying. John Paul hitting us up on YouTube. Richie, you complicate things too much.
What's complicated about that? Duke just winning. It's real simple.
Okay, so essentially in your scenario is you let in Miami over Notre Dame and you punish Notre Dame because they're an independent.
No, you punish Notre Dame for losing the head-to-head against Miami.
Okay, losing the head-to-head against Miami. Okay, their fans are going to perceive that as because they're an independent. I'm just saying how this is going to be perceived from the eye of the media and the fans.
Yes, some are going to see that, which, okay, sure, cool. Join a conference. Shut up. Next.
Let's see Ray on this since he was a former Utah player for UTEP, right?
Yeah, UTEP.
What's his opinion on this? Does Notre Dame need to join a conference?
Yes.
But
I see their point with the revenues and all that they want to keep to themselves. But playing 5 ACC teams just so they can get ranked is I don't know. Maybe they should play 5 SEC teams instead of ACC to get a better ranking and to ensure that they have a better spot. I mean, I don't think that playing 5 ACC teams is enough.
7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We'll be right back. 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We're live here at the Angel Share Garage Bar, getting ready for another action-packed day of college football. Texas and Georgia. Yes, Texas and Georgia. I lost my flow there. Texas and Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma headlining tonight. You also have Pitt and
Notre
Dame.
Which is where they're at right now.
Yes.
And I'm sure the YouTube audience would love for me to. Unlike Pat McAfee, I am going to keep my shirt on.
Yeah, I'm sure they would like to see you keep your shirt on.
So
probably, yeah. Keep the Alabama hoop shirt on. Ray, no, we're not doing that. No, not that type show, Ray.
Ray's like, I'm off the camera. I can do whatever I want.
All right, so we do have some informants down in Tuscaloosa, and we're not talking to them yet. We may possibly talk to them by the end of the show here, but the informants are Pops and Lynn, who's a good friend of the show here, otherwise known as Pops's brother or my uncle. A lot of terms for him. But there is something that I learned this morning talking to Pops. Now, I'm not going to give out where they're staying in Tuscaloosa just for, reasons to be, straightforward for. But there was something interesting about the hotel they were staying at.
Okay. What you got? So
when they first got there this morning, they were asked to put on wristbands for the hotel. And it wouldn't be for what you think.
Which I would think the pool.
Not the pool.
But it's November, so not a lot of people are going to use the pool in November.
No, because when I first heard, they're staying at a really nice hotel in Tuscaloosa, right? They're going to have, maybe it's the new water park hotel they're building, something like that. I was like, is that already open? Cool, Is
it one of those fancy ones where they can open the door with their wristband?
This is to watch the players come out
of
the hotel. So the hotel they're staying at, they the home team or Alabama's football team, right? They stay at this hotel on game day because it is the only on-campus hotel in Tuscaloosa.
I think at this point you can say the name of it because it's not going to take much of a Google to figure that out.
Well, if you would like to Google it, go ahead. I don't want to give up Pops' personal information, but I thought
he's in room 704.
No clue what room he's in.
112.
112.
But there is but I thought that was pretty cool information given out today by Pops, But we could have them be informants down at some certain places here. I think soon they'll be at Rammer Jammers down in Tuscaloosa. Okay, they could be on strip somewhere at a bar. Either way, whatever you may have it, they're going to be out there, and they could possibly call in later in the show today and tell us what the energy is down there in Tuscaloosa as they face off against Oklahoma today. 2:30 game. I wasn't happy about that. Also, if this game was game day, I'd be down there, guys. I don't know what we'd be doing with the show, but I would be down there somehow.
I mean, we would have figured it out.
I think we would have figured it out. It almost happened last night. I almost made the decision just to head down last night. This would have been a very difficult show to do, so I decided not to do that.
Yeah. Would I
put Walker in weird situations all the time, and this would have been one of them today if I went down there.
Yeah. Especially since I was not prepared for that. Would I have been here or there? Where would I have been?
I guess we would have had to figure that out too. Another complication.
Yeah, we'd have figured it out.
There would have been a lot of complications to that. Okay.
At this point in my life, we'll figure it out.
Yes. We did see a deal reached last night, though, so we're able to watch these games finally, because I think the market is pretty much subdued to about 75% of people on YouTube TV.
Yep.
But we finally have a deal so we can watch the games today. I'm so glad to have the multi-screen, the multi-screen,
the quad box,
whatever you may want to call it. But we finally have that back. Richie, you got the details on this?
So I keep up way too much with what's going on with the Disney organization. They tried to get this done late Tuesday night into the early hours. Late Wednesday night into the early hours Thursday morning before they did their quarterly earnings call, fourth quarter shareholder meeting, which did not go good at all. If you have Disney stock, I feel sorry for you right now. But they tried to get that done so that they could walk into the meeting and go, "Oh, look what we did." And Google, Alphabet, whatever you want to call them, is like, "No, we're not going to do that." So what it seems like the final deal has been reached. Basically, nothing crazy is going to change as far as your bill is concerned from what I've read and heard this morning. All of the channels are currently back on, but that is probably going to drastically change. It could go as much as from the 18 channels that Disney currently offers as low as 10, which a lot of those nobody really cares about anyway. But the cool thing is, from what I've read this morning, that beginning with the 2026, the ESPN Ultimate, which is part of their special app that Disney wants you to buy for $30 a month, will be included on the base package of YouTube TV and will be a channel that you can watch. So all this exclusive stuff that they're trying to produce and everything for this app is now going to be visible on your TV at no additional cost to you. So even if your bill does go up a couple bucks, you're getting a $30 app for free. So that's really cool because there's going to be some, I believe they got, was it the UFC went to Paramount, so that's going to be on CBS. But from my understanding, you will now be able to watch WrestleMania on YouTube TV at no additional charge because they have all of the WWE stuff.
That's sweet.
So, yeah, it sucks that we lost it for 2 weeks, and I had to, borrow a DirecTV login. But we're back. We can watch all the games today and be pretty happy about it.
Man, and this one was just, it was long. It was dragged out. I mean, I remember growing up, we've seen these issues, but most of the time people were with DirecTV at the time.
Yeah.
And that's what we had at the time. And it seemed like there was always an issue or a blackout or something. But finally we're back. I'm happy we're back. We can finally, watch every college football game happening now, since I think we have games until at least one game a day until middle of January, something like that. Yeah.
So according to the Wall Street Journal, it cost the Disney organization a minimum of $100 million to not be on YouTube for the last 16 days.
That is crazy.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. But I'm glad we're back. It's been too long, YouTube TV. We missed you. It's been way too long. All right. We are going to get to some of the games today, of course. We might as well start it off with what seems to be probably, I would say, the best game of the day, and that is Texas and Georgia. Ray's surprised over there that I said that. Ray, you're the guy to go to for this. I know you're a Texas fan, a little biased here, but what do you see? What are you looking for in this game?
Some consistency. Manning's been playing, lights out last couple of weeks, but they haven't been to the standard of what he's going to go against today. And again, second of all, Georgia is not the Georgia of a couple of years ago. It's not the same defense. It doesn't have the same defensive line. Lost a lot of the guys on their defensive line in the secondary, so they're susceptible to a little bit of some passing, maybe a little bit of running. But the keys to this game is going to be the offensive line. Can the offensive line protect Archie Manning and give him time? Because as you know, and as you've seen it early in the season, once he gets a little rattled, he gets a little fuzzy, gets a little shaky, gets a little, I think, we've talked about it in length before, me and Richie, where, it's different from coming off the bench to actually leading the team. And I think the game he's got physically, but between the years is still developing. So you have to take that in consideration. So he has to have that defensive line, maybe roll the pocket out a little bit, give him a little time, give him some, a little more vision up the field. And that's going to be the key. And consistency on the defense. There's been late breakdowns in defense. Everybody's talking about how great Texas defense is. Even though I'm a Texas fan, yes, they do play great. And they've surprised me. They've come a long way with losing a lot of people in the draft last year, but they've had late game collapses in the fourth quarter. So it's going to have to be the key thing. I think all that being said is consistency across the board.
This game could be 0-0 at halftime and in 49-48. Like that, just the way both of these teams play, like you were saying, Georgia doesn't seem to get off the bus until halftime for whatever reason. I don't understand how they can't just show up. They showed up a little bit last week, but that was Mississippi State. So, and then like you're saying, can Texas get Archie going? And Archie's had a rough time getting started early and hitting those. They've got to come up with a scheme where they're hitting him with those easy outs, those easy passes early in the game to get his confidence. Because for whatever reason, that kid loses his confidence on Monday.
Yeah.
And doesn't find it again until either 8 minutes into the game or he doesn't, and they lose. See the two games that the Ohio State game we were just talking about earlier, he didn't show up at all
till the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and in this game, what I'm looking for, and I think the biggest thing about this game is this is still a really tough place to play in Athens. Okay, Sanford Stadium, they've had one loss here to Alabama, and they have been on a multi-game win streak ever since. Okay, before that, how many games did they won in a row? It was
it like 22 out of 21 or something, 22 out of 24 or something like that.
I mean, it was a very large number of games won there. Okay, but on the other side, Arch Manning, like you were talking about, he's trending upwards. He's had back-to-back 300-yard games, okay, and 300-yard multi-touchdown games.
Yeah,
we're seeing good games and really a lot of chemistry between between him and Ryan Wingo. Wingo had that 75-yard explosive play against Vanderbilt. This is a good team. Okay, Texas, they've had this top-tier scoring defense all. They've 20 points per game allowed, right? They have done good. They're very good against the run, and they've got it going. On the other side, Gunnar Stockton, he's been a manager completely, and he's had a deep running back by committee. Last year at this time, they were deep in the 100s in rushing yards per game, or really just rushing per game in general. They're in the top 10 now. Yeah. So Georgia's really flipped the dime on defense or on offense, and then classic Kirby, top 10, 15 nationally in scoring defense. It's a very stingy team versus these rushing explosive plays, and they need their biggest thing is forcing them into third and long. Like you had said, and I said this all season, this is not the Georgia team of the past couple of years, and it's not. But we don't need to sleep on this Georgia team. It's still a good team.
Right.
Yes.
They're not number 5 just because they couldn't find anybody else to fill that spot.
Exactly. That's correct. 7:30 a.m., 1839 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We're going to take a quick break real quick, and we're going to come back on the other side here talking the games this today on our slate. Go ahead and get in on our Pick'ems contest on Facebook. Just leave it a comment on there and let us know who you're picking today. This is Off the Bench. We'll be right back. Nobody's trying to text me. Oh, those two guests. 56.
There's 4 fills coming back at 56.
Take out 2 fills.
Take out 2 fills. What's that guy that's coming back at? $54. So we got like 5.5 minutes. What's up?
Jack and Ben, I'm assuming.
Probably, yeah.
Try getting them up versus in there left over y'all.
Well, if you want to go in right now, you can. Yeah. Just be careful. If you do come out my front door. Yeah. All right, I'm not worried about that. This. Just tell Walker about coming back.
You took out 2 fills. We're coming back at 54.
Okay, that works. Yeah.
That's all right. Your co-host has got you. Don't worry. That's what I get paid the big bucks for.
Yeah, no pay today. Sorry, sir.
I was waiting for Walker to say, "You get paid?"
Burritos. Burrito technician extraordinaire.
Nobody gets paid from this. Who is Javier Hernandez? Oh, Private Lady Site 764.
Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead and click on that.
I think we're gonna click to delete chat.
They can still hear us on YouTube.
That's good to know, YouTube. 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We are live here in North Alabama at the Angel Share Garage Bar. Still waiting for a action-packed day of college football, and we getting ready to kick it off with a couple of new guests coming on the show here at 10 o'clock. We are sticking to YouTube for the whole show today, 2 hours straight on YouTube. So if you are listening on the radio, you want to see us on camera, you can do so at off the bench CFB show on YouTube, or you can just stick on iHeart or the radio, whatever floats your boat. If you're in a car, you can always stick on that. That's always a great way to listen to the show. But we're adding more and more ways to listen every day here at Off the Bench to try to get the best product to you. And we appreciate all the love and support we have gotten over these last couple of weeks since the start of the season, as it has just been phenomenal. But on YouTube side, leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know when we go live or post a video. And so you can keep up to date on all things Off the Bench. The best place to do that, though, if you want to keep up to date on all things Off the Bench, is on Facebook at Off the Bench. Mostly we post everything there. Some things get left off YouTube.
Yeah.
But mostly everything goes on Facebook, so you can keep up with us there.
And if you're listening to us in the car, when you hit the next red light and you look over at your phone, go to YouTube.
Because we know, did you just encourage driving? Or?
No, I said when you got to the red light.
Okay, when you get to the red light, you're right.
But when you get to the red light, because you're going to sit there for 3 minutes, as everybody does, go ahead and pull up YouTube, pull us up, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. You don't have to listen to us or watch us right now. Just, that way you're subscribed. When we go live, especially if we do our midweek update and talk about all things that are going on.
And we encourage behavior of going to steal somebody else's phone, signing in, going to YouTube or Facebook, either one, hitting that follow or subscribe button, and then sign out real quick. We encourage that. It can be a random person on the street.
For the record, give the phone back to them when they're done.
Yes. You don't have to tell them. It doesn't hurt them to subscribe to us, but
not at all.
It does help us.
Yeah.
So yes, we encourage that behavior 100%.
If you love us, hit the subscribe button. If you hate us, hit the subscribe button. That's about it.
That's how it works. Okay, we're going through the Texas and Georgia game and seeing how things have gone.
I was going to ask you a question because you may have the stats over there.
Okay.
Would you like to guess how far off as far as passing yards for the season these two quarterbacks are?
Oh, they can't be too far off.
Or how many touchdowns they are off? Or how many interceptions they are off?
I would say they're probably about the same, but Arch did take a little bit to get going. Maybe 5 on the touchdown mark, maybe 500 on the passing yard mark.
Manning has him by 83 yards, 3 touchdowns, and has him by 4 interceptions.
Manning's really had a jump start these last couple of weeks. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We're going to take a quick break and be right back on the other side.
We'll try to remember to mute.
We are muted on the YouTube side. Everything was missed on that side.
Oh, well.
Here we go. Here we go. This is why we need Pops, and he's down in Tuscaloosa. Scott, can you hear us?
Yeah, I was afraid it wasn't working. I'm like, I'm in the studio. I'm up early on a Saturday, but I'm getting no audio. What the heck's going on?
Oh, man. Yeah, no. We were having issues on the YouTube side. Unfortunately, Pops, who plays director here on the show, is down in Tuscaloosa today. So we have fill-in director Ray over here, and he's not as seasoned on it over here. So, but I am helping out over here trying to get everything working in. Chris, I think we have you as well. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are good. All right. So,
Unfortunately.
There we go. Dude, where are you guys broadcasting from? That looks great.
We are broadcasting from Angel Share Garage Bar. This is kind of our little makeshift thing here over at my house.
Perfect. All right. I'm ready to go, guys.
All right. We are live here on YouTube as well as the radio side. Great to introduce you guys as we're live everywhere. But known capabilities on this, we're a little limited. All right. So let's get into it today. We were just breaking down Georgia and Texas and seeing how that whole game is going to go. Scott and Chris, I know we talked about on your show, Chris, what was going to happen in this game, but has any opinions changed? Are y'all still leaning the way of, it seemed like y'all were going and leading the way towards Georgia, as we know how tough a place it is to play in Athens over there, but it seems like Arch Manning is really doing his thing. 300 plus yards in the last couple of games with a multi-touchdown game in each. Do we think that could make a difference here in Athens today?
You go, Scott. I'll go second.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to make a difference at all. Look, I think Kirby Smart has his guys ready to go. I think they're dialed in. This is a must-win game for both of these teams going into today, no question about it. But, Texas did have that bye week last week. Arch Manning is, I know, rare and ready to go, but I still think Georgia has what it takes to win this game today. I just don't see Texas pulling off the victory. I've been wrong before, at least once, but I think today I'm right.
I disagree. I'm going to pick Texas. I know they're not favored. I just think Arch Manning's playing better. I think Georgia's got a lot of injuries. I just think Texas maybe wants this a little bit more. We'll see what happens. I know Georgia's a great team. They had a great quarterback. But I think Arch Manning has something to prove, especially because he hasn't had a great year. But he wants to make sure the dynasty continues. This is his opportunity. He can't screw this up. He's been playing a lot better. I would say Texas wins, but if they win, it's going to be by maybe 3 points. I don't see anybody dominating this game.
Scott, you said this is a must-win for both teams. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I feel like Georgia still has a little bit of wiggle room. I kind of agree with it on the Texas side, but
no, you're absolutely right. Georgia does have the wiggle room for sure. But if Texas loses this game, they're out of the SEC picture today. There's no question. So it's an absolute must-win for Texas. But Georgia, to keep their rankings high, to stay up there at the top of the cream of the crop, they must win this game. So is it a must-win? No. I mean, they could lose technically and still find themselves in the playoff hunt. But for Texas, it's an absolute must-win. Both teams won it today, and Georgia, I think, just has what it takes to win this. Look, isn't this the first time I think that Georgia's ever hosted Texas, by the way, at home?
yes.
Yeah, I thought so. And, home field advantage, Georgia just has it today.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Scott only to the point of I think we forget how tough of a place to play it is in Sanford Stadium. It's just they've lost one game there in the last couple of years, and that was against Alabama, who's been their kryptonite. I don't know if Texas can play kryptonite today, but if Arch continues to play like he is, he's going to give it one heck of a shot here to go out there and get the victory and drop Georgia. Texas needs this win. Texas is as much needed in multiple scenarios of not only for the SEC championship, but the college football playoff. Yeah. They are a bit far out of the SEC championship. They don't control their own destiny, which is going to pose an issue to them down the season. But I've said it all year. If I trust anybody against one Kirby Smart and to recover, it would be Sarkisian. But I think I trust Kirby Smart's staff better to prepare for this game more than I do Sarkisian's staff right now. But I don't want to get that wrong and say, because I do trust Sarkisian's staff to recover like they have this season, and they continue to do so. So I think mostly everything is going the way I thought it at the beginning of the season.
And with Texas still has Texas A&M at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. Georgia still has Georgia Tech at the end of the season. Both of those could be big ranked opponents and everything. But I think the must-win part of this game is to really keep your season trucking along. We've discussed all season about this traffic jam on 65 headed towards the playoff. A loss today is definitely a flat tire. Yeah, you may still get there, but you're not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, you're rolling in on fix a flat.
Yeah.
Which is never good.
Right.
And Georgia Tech is also not a bad team. Like Georgia Tech they were good last year. You got to remember that game went to I forgot it went overtime, but it was a 1-score game. That's not going to be easy. So Georgia is highly motivated because at least if they win this game, then, hey, you have a stinker at the end of the season. Doesn't matter. You're still in the CFP. And neither of them are going to be, or likely, neither of them are likely going to be in the SEC championship. And remember from last year, the 4 teams that got the byes all lost in the second round. So, Georgia might be in a better position actually not getting the bye if you look at what happened last year. We'll see what happens. But for them, I think a big deal is home field advantage. So playing in the first round, I don't see that as a negative, but you would rather play in your home field than you play on somebody else's. So I think that's what Georgia's fighting for. I think Texas, they just want to get in. I think even if they win out, they're not going to the SEC championship. They might have a decent ranking, but for them, this is everything. Every game is ever since the loss of Florida, especially, they've got to win this. I just think Arch Manning wants this. We'll see if he's able to beat Kirby Smart. But it's interesting. Both the coaches are Saban alums. You got to figure they know a lot about how each other play this game. And it is the first time Texas has been to Georgia. So that might give a little bit of an advantage to Georgia. I don't know. I feel like Texas may want this more, but we're going to find out.
All right, moving along, guys. Trucking along. We got a lot of games to get played today here, and another unique game in this aspect will affect the ACC Doomsday Scenario that we have been talking about here, that Rece Davis presented not too long ago on the College Football Playoff Selection Show. Number 9 Notre Dame at number 22 Pitt. This game, essentially, you have Notre Dame, who is riding a 7-game win streak. They've just hammered Navy 49-10. Pitt on a 5-game win streak. And at one time, we thought Pitt was going to have a former Alabama quarterback running the helm like they did last year. This year's a little bit different. They have freshman Mason Heichel, and he has progressed them to the number 11 passing offense in the country. This is a very high-powered Pitt offense that likes big play. They're a big play passing team. The defense, classic Pat Narduzzi. It's an aggressive quarters press lock. Decent. They're decent against the run, but they are occasionally vulnerable deep. So the question is, can CJ Carr and Notre Dame press over on this one and get the win? Richie, let's go with you first real quick.
This is going to be a real tough matchup for Pitt, I think. I think this freshman quarterback, he's played a whole lot of nobodies up to this point. Notre Dame's played a whole lot of nobodies for the last, 8-9 weeks.
Yeah. Riding on their win versus Miami.
Yeah, which doesn't look great today. But to me, I think this is Notre Dame's real time to shine. They win this game. This is another one of those I'm calling a play-in game today. I think the Notre Dame's win today just solidifies their spot in the 12, and we can go ahead and pencil in the independent Notre Dame.
Pencil in, so you're not writing in Sharpie.
Oh, okay, Sharpie it. But
you're Sharpie it, okay.
Well, my problem, the only reason I wouldn't Sharpie it is I don't know, are they the 9 seed or the 10 seed?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Ray, would you want to go on this one?
I'm going Notre Dame.
Going Notre Dame for this one?
Yeah, I think they'll come along a little bit. It's just not. I don't know if Pitt can hold up, but we'll see. It just depends on who's going to show up and who's not.
Okay. We'll do final pick'ems at the end of the show here, guys. Do not forget about that. Audience, you can get in your picks on Facebook at Off the Bench. Don't forget about that. Just leave a comment. Let us know who you're picking on there. You can get it into 11, and we'll do the final pick'ems here at around 10:50 here this morning. Scott, let's go with you next.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame's got this game today. Look, they're heavily favored to win. 12.5-point favorite on the day today. Game day's in town for this game. They're at Pittsburgh for this game. I mean, that brings, excitement, momentum. But listen, both teams come into this game today 7-2 on the season. They're ranked 9th nationally. I just don't really like Pitt anyway. So Notre Dame is going to be my pick for this today. Just flat out calling it. One, it's not an SEC game. I'm an SEC guy. So when I have to start picking teams outside the SEC, I just toss a coin. And the coin landed on my head. So I'm going Notre Dame today.
Chris, go ahead.
I mean, look, I just don't even think it's going to be close. I mean, Notre Dame's a better team. They're better coached. I mean, yeah, Pitt's they're on a roll, but they really played one game that you could say was technically hard. I'm glad that, who knows? I mean, you can always see something happen, but Notre Dame's only lost to two really good teams at the beginning of the season, and they lost in really close fashion, but like within 3 points or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see Notre Dame losing this under any circumstances. And I'd also say, like, on another point, I've been to Pittsburgh and Notre Dame, and I'm just going to tell you, Notre Dame has way prettier women, so I'm going to give that edge to them as well. But maybe that won't be a distraction to Pittsburgh because they can focus on playing football and not on the ladies in the stands. So who knows? It could play out either way.
So you're picking based off who has better looking cheerleaders. I pick off mascots. Who has the better mascot? That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing. People are going to hate me for this, but one of the reasons I didn't like Notre Dame for a long time is because I hated that movie Rudy. Like, everybody said it was such a good movie. Oh, it's so inspiring. And like, you get to the end of the movie, he plays a couple plays in a nothing game, and I thought it was going to be good, and it disappointed me. And I've been mad about that for years. But the thing that changed my mind is I love their coach. He's like 37, 38 years old, solid dude. So I'm going to go with Notre Dame, but Notre Dame just got the better team. Pittsburgh does not have the quality of players on offense or defense as Notre Dame has. And I think Notre Dame has done great, like the slow start the season, but then they turn it on towards the end. They did this exactly last year. I don't see a scenario where they lose. In fact, I predict they're going to win by more than 2 touchdowns.
And see, I thought you were going to say the turnaround was the hunchback of Notre Dame. That's what I thought you were going to say.
I didn't like that either, by the way. That book. And also, that's not technically in America, just so people know.
That's true. Exactly.
Yeah.
Both of them are fake movies.
Oh, wow. Rudy was an American classic, though.
It's fake.
I've talked to the real Rudy. It wasn't right. It wasn't fake.
They did not go and throw their jerseys on the desk and say, "Oh, if he doesn't play, the movie's fake."
I mean, I don't know the whole story.
Yeah, there was a lot added to it. There was a lot added to it for sure.
In this game, I think the rushing game for Notre Dame is going to be too powerful for Pitt, and it's really going to push Pitt back down to earth. We're going to see Jeremiah Love completely take over in this game. He's going to have it. He's going to have 150-yard game.
He's been very quiet for the
He
last
has
2
been
weeks.
very quiet, and I think this is the game where he's going to take over and have his huge game. I mean, he had a 50-yard run against Navy last week.
Yeah.
So I think this week he's going to build on top of that and take it to there. All right, guys, we are having some mic issues, it seems, on the radio sides with Scott and Chris. So we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to come back on the other side. This is 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench.
Hey,
YouTube side, you get to see a little bit of behind the scenes here. Chris and Scott, we're having issues on the for the radio side where they cannot hear you. So we're going to change this up and we're going to go to clean feed. All right, guys?
Okay, that works.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. We're going to
No
send
worries,
those out
no
to you
worries.
real quick.
All right.
All right. YouTube side, we are going to have to abruptly end the stream to be able to continue this. But if you want to continue listening, you can do so at 7:30 a.m. On JOX Huntsville and iHeartRadio. Or if you're locally here, just turn on the radio here at 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville here in North Alabama. We will see you guys on the midweek update. This is Off the Bench. We'll see you guys next week.